Our guest today, Captain Canada, Greg Westlake. He was Canada's para hockey captain for almost a decade. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show. Coming up! Welcome to the program. Our guest today hails from Oakville, Ontario. He is a para icy hockey player and an athlete of all kinds, a two-time handbike world record holder, 20 years with Team Canada, 14 years as a Canadian captain or assistant captain, two-time gold medalist at the World Championship, the 2006 Paralympic gold medalist, 5 Paralympic medals. Welcome to the program, Greg Westlake. Greg, great to have you here, my friend. It's good to have you.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Thanks for the great introduction.
Well, Greg, I know I know your story. I know that you became disabled at a very young age. Tell us about what happened and where you came from.
Yeah, just born with a birth defect on both my feet. So I grew up on 2 artificial legs and, very active young guy. I played every sport I could, played against able-bodied kids my whole life. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so I think that really helped me out a lot because just did everything my siblings were doing. My parents were amazing and let me try anything with no fear of me getting hurt or anything like that. So, I definitely wasn't bubble wrapped as a kid and just grew up trying everything, loved sports, and from a very, very early age, just knew that I was an athlete, knew that sports was something I wanted to do, and just so grateful that I found hockey and I found para hockey in particular. And now here I am, 38 years old, and it's been a lifetime of just sports for me, and I've had an absolute blast doing it.
So keeping up with the siblings was kind of the motivating factor for you, getting involved in sports. I'm guessing, right? So
Yeah.
there was never, So there's never an issue with self pity or poor me or I'm different or any type of issues like that.
No, I think there was some of that. To be honest with you, the only self pity I really felt was like never feeling like I was on a level playing field with other kids because I was good enough to play like some single A rep hockey or some high level house league, but I could never play triple A. And I grew up with an older brother that played, tier 2 junior hockey, always going to his practices, all of his games. I was always forced to be the goalie at road hockey with, all his friends and stuff like that. And when you're playing able-bodied sports as a kid with a disability, there is some frustration. There is some self-pity that creeps in, and there's doubt where, gosh, if I just had 2 feet, I think I'd be really good at this thing. But you're never going to
Mhm.
find out, right? And so there's stuff like that was frustrating, and that's where when I did find Paralympic sport and adaptive sport, I think that's one thing that really made me fall in love with it was I actually got to find out what kind of athlete I really am because I grew up always at such a disadvantage. So all of a sudden, when I got on that sled and I played para ice hockey, everybody else is in a sled. We were just the same, and so I got to kind of go out and actually find out, like, am I a good hockey player or not?
That's so important, though, to have those sports that you can fall back on and that you can compete at the same level as your peers and excel. And I want to talk about a little bit about this because you excelled at a number of pursuits. Two-time world record holder in handbike. Tell us about that accomplishment.
I'm happy you pulled that out because that was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like, just with a shell on top. And yeah, exactly like that. Well done, guys. And it's pretty scary in there because you go out to Nevada, and I remember I flew into Reno, then I took a 5-hour bus north of Reno, and there's just this strip of land that's the longest, flattest, smoothest pavement in all of North America. So you make the trek to get there, and basically what had happened was these guys at Holland Bloorview Rehabilitation Hospital, which is an amazing hospital, does great work
Hmm.
for so many kids in tough spots. These 2 men who worked there built this bike, and then they had a downhill skier, Paralympic skier, as their pilot. And the pilot, I guess, had a shoulder injury and couldn't do it. So they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we think you're about the same size as this guy. Any chance you'd be willing to come and give it a shot?" And you go really fast in it. I'm going over 70 kilometers an hour in that thing, and no safety equipment, no nothing. and you start to go, and like the little lines in the middle of the road, you know,
Yeah.
all I can see is just a little square in front of my face like this. So I can't see any peripheral. And those lines in the middle of the road, I can see them for the first mile. And then you get like a 6 mile run up, and then they clock you for the last 200 meters to see like what's your max speed. And all of a sudden, within like 5-10 minutes, like those lines, they're a blur. And you realize, like, gosh, I'm
Right.
going, there's a car here. And if I blow a tire, I'm in the cactuses on the right. And so it was a very scary experience that I ended up going back and doing 3 times. And and I just loved it. And there was a thrill. But I mean, I come from a team sport, right? I'm a hockey guy. And I think what I appreciate about that whole experience was just these two scientists had built this trike and this bike, and they didn't have a rider. And so I was just honored that they asked me, and I was thrilled to go out there and kind of prove them right that they did build this great machine, and I was just the engine of it. But they did an amazing job, and I got to go have a great time out in the desert in Nevada. And thank gosh my body's still not out there.
Well, you know what? You sell yourself short because not only did you do well, but you set that world record. I think I saw it. I was reading a German publication actually that was talking about it. I think I saw you topped out at 84 kilometers an hour.
Nice,
Like
yeah,
that
and
is flying.
no, you don't even feel it when you're in it. And then I saw
Yeah,
the YouTube video afterward, and you kind of just go by in a blur. And I was like, I was in that thing. Like, yeah, I think if I'd seen it
yeah,
before I'd done it, I don't think I would have
right,
done it. So it's good.
right. Okay, but hockey was your thing. You wanted to be a hockey player, I think, from a from early age, as you mentioned. And so, how did you get your start in para hockey?
I was about 15 years old, and my parents came to me. And like I was saying, I just played every sport I could growing up. I love martial arts. You see, I got my boxing gloves. Oh, this side of
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, right there for you. And I love martial arts. I love volleyball. I love basketball. I loved hockey. I loved everything. Um, and my parents just kind of came to me and said, "Hey, we can tell that being an athlete is something that's really important to you. And if that's something that you want to keep pursuing, there's probably a way to do it. But we got to find the right fit, the right sport." And they brought the idea of playing Paralympic hockey to me, and took me out to try it. And I'm so fortunate to have great parents that support me and care about me, and have my best interest in mind. And they took me out, and I gave it a shot. And when we met last week, and I was speaking at the event at the hospital event, it was the teammates and the people involved that really got me hooked. Hockey's hockey. I love that it's a full contact sport. I love that I was on a level playing field with the other athletes. Um, but really, just the opportunity to get out there and just see how good I could get. I just fell in love with it right away. And I could list 100 reasons why, and I probably will over the course of the next few minutes here.
Yeah.
But I'm just so thankful that I got my start there. It was with the Mississauga Cruisers in 2001, and they're a fantastic organization. They changed the lives of kids with disabilities all across Ontario, probably all across Canada, and just so lucky to have been hooked up with them at a young age.
Well, Mississauga Cruisers in 2001 is when you get your start, and 5 years later, you're with the national team, and you're at the Olympics, and you're winning Paralympic gold. So before that game, you guys received a phone call from Wayne Gretzky, and Paul Rosen was on the show. And here's how Paul described that phone call.
And on the phone
Mhm.
comes up, "Hey guys, it's Wayne Gretzky." Wayne Gretzky called us. We were in a tiny little boardroom the morning of the gold medal game. Speakerphone, 15 disabled guys that had the honor of putting that Canadian jersey on, and maybe only three of them that got a chance to watch Wayne Gretzky play. And believe me, I watched them for years. But what he said to us in that 3 4 minute speech was something that I'll never forget as long as I live. And it was basically, no matter what happens tonight, before you get on the ice, you look at the guy to your right, you'll look at the guy to your left, and you play for them.
So do you remember the phone call, and what did it mean for you?
100%. I remember the call, and it's important to note too. But the support didn't just end there. Um, Wayne was a guy that ended up supporting me for a large chunk of my career and called me before a lot of games, a lot of Paralympic games. And before my last games in China, I was sponsored by Gretzky Estate. So I got a nice gift package of
Wow.
wine and whiskey when I got home. So that was awesome. But no, his speech was great. And Paul hit the nail on the head. It was about doing it for each other and the guys in the room, and finishing the journey that you're on. And, where minutes away from puck drop here for Game 7 for Florida and Edmonton, and it's the same for all those guys. You know, they've been on this incredible journey, and it feels like months ago that the playoffs started. They've been in this bubble and this grind for months, and it's hard and it's long and it's worth it. And the main feeling I got after that Wayne Gretzky phone call was just the ability to go play free. You know, yes, it was for your teammates, but it was also a little bit of whatever happens tonight, like you're already a Canadian champion. You put yourself in this position to wear the jersey and represent the country. And so just go leave it all out there, lay it on the line and let the chips fall where they may. And that's what we did. And it worked out great for us. So yeah, we played for each other. We played free, we played loose, and it worked out. And that's advice that, you know, I've clung to and it's stayed with me for my whole career. And that's advice that's going to be going around the locker room for a long time to come. You know, as I mentioned, the big game tonight, for Canada, for Edmonton. I'm sure they're going to be hearing a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the great result in Torino. So, we got a great goal here from a very young Greg Westlake. We have some pictures of that. Do you remember this goal?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure you do.
Mr. Brad Bowden, great assist there. And so I wasn't very good at this time. Like in 2006, I was young. Like I looked like a baby there. My family's in the audience there. I think I just saw my brother, but I was on a line with two amazing players, Billy Bridges and Brad Bowden. They were kind of the new age of the sport. They were really driving it forward. They were doing things that players hadn't been doing. And so I found myself on a line with them just because I was pretty good positionally, but I was not a great hockey player at that time. So I was just trying to, you know, be in the right spots at the right time. And when you play with really good players, sometimes that's all you got to do. And keeping it simple is the best plan. So that goal there that went in, that's just going to the open ice in front of the net and relying on really good players to do all the hard work, and you get to take the glory from it. So it was a lot of fun, and that whole night was just incredible. We had so much family and friends that came to Italy in that time, and that rink was just built just for the women's game at the Olympics
Hmm.
and the para hockey for the Paralympics. And so we were the only two sports that were in that venue. So after we won, they were tearing down that rink the next day. And so we threw a party in there for the ages. We had probably 60 people in our locker room. We were writing on the walls. We were having a blast because they were demolishing the building the next day. So it's still to this day one of my favorite sporting memories and one of my favorite family memories as well, just because at that point, you know, as you get older, it gets harder to get your family together. Everybody gets married, has kids,
Mm.
moves around a little bit. But at that point, I had all three of my siblings there, both my parents, and of course the group of guys that you accomplish it with. So it was just an incredible evening, an incredible tournament, and really set the course of my next 20 years. Because after that gold medal, I was kind of all in. This is what I wanted to do.
You could tell how much fun you guys were having when you were singing the national anthem there. That was pretty cool. And like you said, your family in the crowd. It's just what a spectacular moment, and a moment you could have missed if you hadn't turned your focus on para hockey and what it's done for you, meeting Gretzky and getting that call and then rubbing shoulders with the great one numerous times after that. So you talked about being motivated and inspired by others when you joined Team Canada, and we have a clip of you from a while back. Let's roll that.
And it was meeting my teammates and guys through sledge hockey at the time that really shaped what I was going to do for the next 10 years of my life in competition. And I met cancer survivors and guys who served in the Canadian military, and our chef de mission right now, Todd Nicholson. I remember he was one of the first guys I met, and he was in a car accident on the way home from his high school prom. And you just hear all these stories, but then every single guy then said, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to be an ambassador, I'm going to be a community representative. And I was really taken back by it. I think it helped me grow up and mature, and I'm just so thankful for everything I've been given over the course of the past 13 years.
Let's talk a little more about being around the guys and how it helped you grow up.
Well, first off, great clip. I didn't know I'd be seeing myself topless on the show today, so that's awesome. No, it's I said it in that clip, but it's and I say it in all my speeches and everything I do and all the community events I do. But when you're born with a disability, you don't know anything else, and so I just grow up and I just act like every other kid. My life is so normal, and then you're in a change room with cancer survivors, people who've been in accidents, like I alluded to, military veterans, And they just have this perspective of life when they go through an experience like that. And I think at a young age, that was just so good for me to be around role models like that, that have gone through some insane experiences that all came home from that and said, you know what? I'm not going to go the wrong way. Cause there's two paths you can take after something like that in
Mm.
your life. You can go the wrong way or the right way. And these guys all came home and said, I want to be leaders in my community. I want to do the right things. I want to eat well. I want to train. I want to show the next generation that anything's possible. And when you're around people like that as a 17-year-old kid, you get the rub, and you get the resiliency from it. And so for me, like I'm a firm believer that you can learn from everybody. There's some kind of little nugget of information you can get from everybody you meet on a daily basis. And for me, I was just around these incredible men, and that was the thing that made me want to do it and take the path I chose was the effect that they had on me. Maybe I can have some sort of small effect on other people that way, and not just sharing my story, but sharing their stories as well. So, I really view myself more as a storyteller than as an inspirational or motivational speaker in that sense. I just love telling stories. I love sharing my teammates' stories, and hopefully people can get something out of that. But yeah, they're just an incredible group of guys, and it's my favorite thing about Paralympic sport. And it's not just hockey; it's the Paralympics in general. And if you've never seen the Paralympics, if you've never tuned in, like give it a chance. It's high level, high performance sport from people that have these incredible stories. And if you can't learn something from that, I don't know what to tell you because it's really shaped who I am today.
Well, the stories are incredible. I mean, that's how we learn about life is listening to the stories of others, and that's how we can grow too. And like you said, trying to follow in their footprints and you know follow the right path, take the right path, which you have, which is fantastic. And I want to talk a little more about your hockey. And last time out, you were at the Paralympics in Beijing, but we've also got some video of you playing a great Westlake goal against Norway. This is from the round robin, I believe, at the Beijing Games. Uh, you guys are shorthanded on this play, and you team up with Brad Bowden for a goal after you steal the puck away. I think that's Bowden with the steal, and you guys are breaking away on a shorthanded 2-on-1. Here you go.
Yeah, there's a big theme here. Basically, Brad does all the work, and I just go to the net and expect the puck. But he's one of the most selfless human beings that you'll ever meet. Um, and at the end, like you want to score those goals and you want to contribute so bad because you love your team so much and you love your country so much, and that's what makes the Olympics, the Paralympics, and Stanley Cup Finals, all these things so great is that the stakes are high. We need to win that game, and and that's what's so fun. So again, Brad does all the hard work there, but for me, I remember at this time I was still pretty young here, and you just want to contribute. That was my first year ever being an assistant captain on the team, and you just want to contribute. You want to show your teammates that you're doing the right things, that you're working hard away from when you're not at camps, when you're not together. And in my opinion, it's talk is cheap. You got to show up and produce and play well in the meaningful games that really matter. So I always took a lot of pride in showing up when we needed it, when our backs were against the wall. Those were the moments that I loved the most. And now sitting here as a retired athlete, like watching that goal back and seeing some of the teammates there that I haven't seen for a little bit, like I miss them. I miss playing. And gosh, like what I would give just to throw a strap on the pads and just feel that pressure again, because pressure's a privilege. And I loved it so much.
Yeah, what was the pressure like for you? I mean, you say pressure is a privilege, but what was it like? I mean, you're in that dressing room before a medal game, and you're going through that, thoughts and feelings. What's going through the mind of Greg Westlake at that time?
Well, I think every team's a little bit different. I played on some teams where I was relied on to score, or me or the guys on my line. And if we didn't score, then, maybe we won't win. And then I played on some other teams where we had a lot of depth, where we had a lot of great skilled guys. And so at the end of the day, I think you just got to do your job. And sometimes your job is to score. You look at the NHL finals tonight, like it's not good enough for Connor McDavid just to go fill a lane. He's got to be spectacular because he's Connor McDavid. And so everyone's role is a little bit different, but you just got to go execute your role, whatever that is. And so I always really tried to focus on that. I think narrowing your scope is a great way to attack pressure moments. Just what's important right now and go do that
Mm,
thing. So whenever I was in the change room, I was honestly just thinking about how can I have the best first shift of the game? And then I'll get to the bench after my first shift. I'll think about my next shift then. But I can't worry about the third period before the game's even started. So for me, I just really tried to keep it really simple. Think about what's important right now and try to execute that thing. And then ultimately, you got to remember that I play a team sport. I'm not a big boxer here where I'm by myself in the middle of that ring. I
right.
have teammates. I have defensemen. I have other line mates out there. I have a great goalie in the net. I can make a mistake. It's not the end of the world. And so the perfect hockey game doesn't exist. No hockey player is going to go out there and play the perfect game. But if you just
Mm.
go out and try to do your role to the best of your ability, that's going to give your team the best chance. And so, I tried to remind myself I have great teammates. What's important right now? And let's go execute those things.
Yeah, you talk about execution, though, but I want to harken back to that goal. Like you gave Brad a lot of credit for being the workhorse on the goal, and certainly he was. But you have to have the finisher, and so you did your job by finishing, and good for you. That was a beautiful thing. Pretty cool honor in Beijing because you got a chance to be the flag bearer for the Canadian team. How did that come about?
Well, there I am waving away. The flag's all caught up there. So that's what they don't tell you. You don't get a trial run. So I got out there, it got tangled up on me right away. But that was one of the greatest honors again. I mean, for me, a lot of things come back to my family and my teammates. I didn't do anything alone. I play a team sport. Um, Nothing was done by me as an individual. And that flag bearer was just a really nice honor because Paralympic sport and representing Canada meant so much to me for my whole career and still does to this day. And so for me, just getting to walk out there and hold the flag, for me, I just felt like I was leading again a team out there. And so I was just out there leading a great group of Canadian athletes that are so proud to be there. And for those games in particular, that was a grind. Every athlete that was in China, deserves their flowers for the work that they did. The COVID games were tough. We got tested every day. We had to stay away from our
Mm.
families before we left. We had to stay away from our families after we got home. It was an absolute grind. So every athlete that did the summer COVID games, the winter COVID games, you know, a lot of respect to all of them because those were tough games. But that was a time where people were at home and people wanted entertainment. People wanted an escape from their day to day life in quarantine. So for us to be able to go out there and be on international waters and just play a game that we love to play. That was such a fun experience. And then to be the flag bearer on top of that, I felt like I was, just guiding our team into an arena during a tough time. And, let's just go enjoy the experience and enjoy the fact that we get to do this while a lot of people are locked up at home. So that was my attitude then. But no, of course, an absolute tremendous honor. And I really thank the Paralympic Committee for letting me do that. It was a lifetime experience.
So now your team fell just a little bit short of the goal of gold, but you did manage to bring home the silver. Do you consider the silver medal a success at those
It's always tough to ask a Canadian hockey player if silver is a success
games?
because, we're raised our whole lives that it's gold or nothing, and so yes and no. It's one of those ones that now when I do a school visit or a hospital visit or when I meet people at a speech I'm giving, it's pretty special to have that silver medal. And people love to take pictures with it and hold it. So there's value there. Um, it's just tough because in that moment, it's not going to feel that way. And it takes a little while to be proud of it. Even the next day, you're not proud of it. But then all of a sudden, months down the road and a year down the road, you start to realize that you're proud of the journey. You're proud of, you know, you did all the right things. Your nutrition was great. You lived a high performance lifestyle. Over COVID, when people were drinking and not living their best life and playing video games and doing all these things, you were at the rink, you were working out, you were training, you were doing all those things. So it was an absolute grind. So no, I'm not thrilled with silver, but there is pun intended, but there is a silver lining, and that's all the great things you can do with a Paralympic medal when you get home, and that's to share it with others because it's not yours, it's the country's.
You have to be one of the most decorated Canadian athletes, if not all athletes, period, of all time. I'm talking about, you know, medals, right? Like, have you ever tried to count up the number of medals you won at the worlds? Four Nations tournaments, whatever. I mean, you got a whack of different events that you've been involved in, and you've taken home a lot of medals, a lot of gold medals.
I'm still grinding. I'm coaching with Team Canada right now. I was an assistant coach last season, and we won the world championship, which was an incredible experience. And I got home, and you can tell where I got it from. My uncle called me, and he goes, Greg, you got 10 fingers, and you don't have 10 rings, so keep going. and so that was funny. So in some capacity, I hope I'm always involved. I love helping the next generation, and honestly, I love winning. It's Yeah, I'm not there to participate, and I don't coach to participate. I want people to reach their potential. I want Canada to win gold medals. I'm very proud to be a Canadian hockey player, and like I said, for a lot of Canadian hockey players, it's gold or nothing, and I'm okay with that because it sets a really high standard. It sets a really high bar, and if it's not hard, it's not worth it. And so winning gold medals is incredibly hard. Winning medals at the Paralympics just to make the team and do the grind that it takes to get there is incredibly challenging. And that's what makes it so worth it. So no, I've never counted anything like that. I just know I'm still motivated. I know that I want to win more. I know that I want to keep going. So um, hopefully there's a lot more success in the future for me. I want to keep winning in some capacity, whatever role that may be, whether that's coaching, management, whatever it is. I just want to keep helping and keep working with Canadian hockey players.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, okay, so 9 years as a captain of the team. I think you said 14 or 15 years as either a captain or an assistant captain. You've now passed the torch on to Tyler McGregor. And as you mentioned, you coached that team to a gold medal. Obviously, you feel they're in pretty good hands now.
No, they're in great hands. Tyler's a great guy. Um, and not just him, like the whole whack of guys coming up are incredible. Liam Hickey, Dom Cozzolino, Tyler McGregor, Adam Kingsmill, their goalie's fantastic. Tyler does a skate every winter, which is like a skate-a-thon where he raises money for cancer research. He's just an incredible young man. So, that's the thing with sports in general. And when you play hockey in Canada, there's a lot of people coming. There's always amazing players. There's always amazing leaders. And so it's hard to make it. It's hard to get that spot, and it's even harder to keep it. So I knew when I retired, everything was going to be just fine. And they're on pace right now for a really good performance at the next Paralympics. And hopefully I can stick around to be a small part of it. But yeah, they're in great hands. And, our sports grow in leaps and bounds. I was listening to your episode with Caroline Ouellette before I came on,
Hmm.
and she's one of my favorites. And I always think that para hockey is a lot like the women's game. Right now we're a few years behind their development where we're still fighting for funding, we're fighting for respect, we're fighting for all that stuff. But the athletes are there; they're incredible. The work they do is great. The community work they do is great. Um, and it's all going to catch up and be amazing. But I really modeled a lot of what we did after the women and how they grew their sport. And I think if we just follow the path that the women's hockey program took, then the para hockey program is going to be incredible.
Oh no, I mean, no question. The women's program has taken off like it's incredible. The PWHL, what a tremendous success that first year was, right? And yeah, I think sky's the limit for para hockey as well. Um, you know, uh, you talked about giving back, and you talked about the Tyler giving back and doing charity work, and uh, you and I met each other recently at the Bowmanville Hospital function. You had a terrific talk there. That was a really fun experience for me. How does somebody get a hold of you if they want to, have Greg Westlake come out and speak to their organization?
No, I appreciate that. I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, G Westlake 12. Shoot me a message and go from there. I got all the links to get a hold of me on my Instagram there. And without giving out my phone number or email here, that's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
the
yeah.
the best way to get a hold of me. And yeah, just give me a follow, shoot me a message. And I love doing stuff like that. The event that we were at, obviously the hospital foundation, you did a great job as an MC, and I was thrilled to be there as a keynote speaker. And I've obviously had a lot of touch points with hospitals in my life. They've given me ongoing care from
Mhm.
my amputation as a young child to making sure I was always fitted with prosthetics so that I could run and play and be active with other kids. And then, the way the healthcare system's taking care of my teammates who found themselves in hard spots. Um, that was a really special talk for me. And I love doing things like that. So anything sports related, anything hospital related, my heart lies there. And I love high performance. I love giving back, and I love helping people through hard times. So I would love to do as much as I can.
Right. And if you want to get a hold of Greg, you can DM me, and I can pass on the message.
I appreciate
So,
you. Thank you.
yeah. So here, Greg. So here's the question I like to ask all my guests. This is what's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh boy, good one. I think I'll go to Jerome McGinley. Hockey Canada set me up to have dinner with him when I was kind of becoming a leader on the team, and him and I had a great chat. And he told me as I was kind of growing into a leadership role, just be inclusive. Make sure that nobody feels left out. And if you're going for a dinner, don't invite 5 guys, invite everybody. And that's how you build a great team is by not excluding anybody, making sure everybody feels included and wanted and a part of the project and a part of the success. And if you do that, great things happen. Because for me, I'm all about galvanizing groups. I think everybody has to be pulling in the same direction, working together. And I think when a guy is decorated as, a Jerome McGinley pulls you aside and just says, hey, whatever you do, make sure everybody feels a part of it. I think that was some of the best advice I've ever gotten. I take that to my friend group. I take that to my family. If I'm doing something, I want everybody there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is a team game. Everybody's included, right? That's how we
Yes,
have to
sir.
play it in life too, right? Well, listen, thank you so much for being on the program. It's been awesome talking to you and having you here, Greg, and it's an honor to meet you, my friend.
No, and Joe, I appreciate all the great work you do and all the speaking you do. And, the podcast is fantastic. This is a, very well run show. I appreciate it. I got to see myself topless. What a great day.
Well, we have producer Vic, who's unbelievable, and we got our pal Paul Patsku, who provides video for us. So we got a pretty good team here. We got a pretty good
Yeah,
team here.
really awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, we got more when we come back.
Addiction Rehab Toronto, Toronto's #1 alcohol and drug treatment center, saving lives, reuniting families. The only treatment center in the province to offer medical detox, treatment, sober living, and lifetime aftercare all in one place. Our unique and specialized programs are designed to equip our clients with the tools to successfully lead a life of dignity, respect, and purpose. Let us help save your life or your loved one's life. Call today for more information or to facilitate an intervention. 1-855-787-2424 or visit addictionrehabtoronto.ca. Rely on Walton Restoration's 40-plus years of excellence in residential and commercial restoration. Their strong reputation is built on workmanship, professionalism, and outstanding customer service. Trust Walton as your dependable partner in emergencies, serving Durham, Kawartha, and Northumberland regions. Call 905-725-5666 or visit waltonrestoration.com. Experience top-tier workmanship and service. Walton Restoration, the trusted name in property restoration. Join satisfied customers like me.
And we want to thank all the folks who make this show possible. These are friends, trusted business associates, and all-around great people. We highly recommend them all. Thank you for your support of Canadian sports. A reminder, the show is available on iTunes, Breaker, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, as well as the Spanglish Network, Buzz TV Live, and Zingo TV. Also, check out the show on YouTube. All of our past great shows and shorts are on there, reels. Like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Thanks once again to Greg Westlake for being on the program. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Brian Gribben Insurance Planning, helping you solidify your financial future.
At BGIP, what we do that's unique in the marketplace is we show people how to spend and enjoy their money in the early years of retirement without the fear of running out. Also, we're able to do this without you having to change financial advisors. Please look us up at bgip.ca today. Let's book a 30-minute phone call to see how we can bring value to you and your family in your planning.
Call Brian today for all your retirement needs. We did. 905-686-5678. MNP, a leading Canadian national accounting, tax, and business accounting firm. MNP proudly serves and responds to the need of their clients in the private, public, and nonprofit sectors. Through partner-led engagements, MNP provides a collaborative, cost-effective approach to do business and personal strategies to help people and organizations to succeed across the country and around the world. With local offices in Oshawa, Mississauga, Burlington, and more, their team is here to support you. Visit mnp.ca today to learn more. Rooted in 60 years of tradition, Sleepy Hollow is a private golf club with a friendly community of members just minutes from Toronto. With mature trees and rolling fairways, Sleepy Hollow provides a challenging and enjoyable experience for passionate golfers. Enjoy great golf, amazing dining, and a picturesque patio second to none. Visit sleepyhollowcountryclub.com. Joe Tilley here. My wife Penny Claire and I recently took an amazing trip to Egypt and Jordan with Trip Oppo. And here are our top 10 must-dos. Last but not least, we relaxed at a luxury resort and took a dip in the famous Dead Sea. This beautiful resort was a perfect way to cap off our incredible adventure in Egypt and Jordan. After days of exploring ancient ruins and bustling markets, it was wonderful to just kick back, put on a little mud, and soak up the sun by the Dead Sea. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the amazing cuisine in Egypt and Jordan. Don't forget to try the delicious local food like mouth-watering Egyptian barbecue. And the best part is that our Trip Oppo tour includes almost all of the meals, so you can indulge in the local cuisine without worrying about opening your wallet. I would highly recommend that you book your next trip through Trip Oppo. Call them today. Guests on Joe Tilley Sports receive a gift certificate from Classica Imports. Top of the line imported men's clothing. Check out the Classica Essential Collection now. Go to shopclassica.com.